Hello, my name's Katie. Thank you for logging into the telehealth session with me today. I know with some of the stuff going on, we had to close down the office. So, with the COVID-19 outbreak. So, I really thank you. I know you probably, I guess you were referred by probation, is what I saw on your chart. So, I'm very thankful you were willing to be flexible with this. Yeah, I just reviewed your referral sources and stuff before. So I kind of knew, some of the stuff we were going to talk about today.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I was referred. Yeah. So I mean, that happens. I'm here, but thanks.
Okay. So what happened with it? I kind of wanted to hear your side of the story because sometimes when you hear from probation or entities like that, it's not, it's just half of the story. So I want to hear your half of the story.
Oh yeah, it happened I think, a couple months ago, maybe around January, and I was just driving, and I went over a little bit of the speed limit, and I guess I must have went over like a line, and there's a cop car
Oh,
saw me, and he pulled me over, and then I guess he suspected some drugs. I don't know what that was about, but whatever, I guess. And they found some drugs in my vehicle at the time.
okay. So what drugs did they find in your vehicle?
LSD.
Okay. Had you taken any?
I took like a little bit.
Okay. Is that something you do frequently?
I mean, I don't know what you would like call frequently, but at least every month.
Okay. So, what I'm going to run through right now, since it's our first session together, is just a little questionnaire that I have. It's 10 questions. It's called the DAST. And some of these questions may seem silly, um, but it's basically to scale what level of severity um, your substance use is at. And LSD is considered substance use at this point in time.
Okay.
So the first question asks, have you ever used drugs other than those required for medical reasons?
Yeah, yeah. I've never been prescribed LSD and stuff,
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have you used any other drugs besides that?
I'm saying thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess ever since I was like 18, I've just kind of, like experimented like all the other 18-year-olds do, because I mean, we all do it. But I think I've done some marijuana,
Okay.
done heroin a few times. I did cocaine like once
Okay.
with Ella.
Okay. So you took both of those at the same time?
Maybe one or two times I did, but I'm not like completely sure.
Okay. So that's actually the second question. So it's do you abuse more than one drug at a time? So I'll write down yes for that one. I just have a little pad of paper here, so I'm just writing down your answers real quick. So the third question is, are you unable to stop abusing drugs when you want to? So
Mm,
basically, if you were trying to stop using LSD or marijuana or heroin, whichever one, is kind of your preference, have you tried to do that and been unable to, or do you think you would be able to?
there was like a time, like maybe a year ago, where I was like, maybe I should stop because it was just kind of getting a little out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like, I don't know, it was just kind of like a weird situation like a year ago. But I don't know. I guess I tried, maybe kind of like it went through my head, but I
Okay.
didn't do much more than that. So I guess whatever you want to call that.
Okay. So do you feel like at this point in time, now that you're in probation, do you feel like you are able to stop using LSD?
I I think for however long I have to be on probation, which is just like a few months. Yes,
Do you think
yes,
without
I do.
probation you would be able to?
I don't know if I really care to.
Okay. Do you think you'd be able to, though?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to put a no for that answer. So we have you ever had blackouts or flashbacks as a result of the drug use? So with LSD, it would probably be more likely a flashback.
Like during
So
LSD, like when I'm on it, or you mean
later,
like when I'm not on it? Okay.
when you're not on it.
I mean, yeah, I've had a few. They haven't been like significant or anything, but I've had a few.
Okay. So do you feel bad or guilty about your drug use at any point? I know you were talking about there was one instance in time where you kind of wanted to stop or you thought about stopping. What was your motivation behind doing that?
I feel like it was my family at the time. They just didn't like what I was doing, and so I felt kind of like a guilt and shame
Mm-hmm.
after they found out. So I don't know. I just kind of felt weird about the whole situation, and I was just like, "Is it worth it?" But then I don't know. I guess I was like, "Okay." But I
Okay.
mean, I think there's time.
Yeah. So you said your family, so did your family ever complain about your using LSD?
To be honest, they didn't like know about it for a
Okay.
while. They didn't know about it for a while, and then I came home one night, and they kind of noticed it, and then they asked me. And at that point, it's like I was lying for however long. So it's like, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be honest with you. Um,
That's very brave.
yeah, I think, yeah, I think it bothers them. I don't think they like it. I think they feel like I'm not doing good in college, but I'm doing fine.
Okay. Um, have you ever neglected your family because of your use of drugs?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is like sometimes I will go do something else instead of like hang out with them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes being on LSD can be more fun than hanging out with family sometimes.
Okay, so have you missed like big important events because of it?
I missed a few birthdays
Okay.
for some family members I'm close with, but
Okay. Have you ever engaged in illegal activities in order to get drugs?
I mean, I just have like a friend that gives me the drugs, so like I'm not like crossing the borders for it.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess whatever you want to call that. But
Okay.
I just get it from a friend.
Yeah. I mean, I think the purchasing of it is illegal, but if you don't do anything outside of that, I am going to put that as a no. Was that surprising for you to hear?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's surprising. I'm glad I'm not doing anything crazy illegal.
Oh, I thought you were surprised that I said that the purchasing of it was illegal.
Oh, I guess when you put it in perspective like that, yeah, it is a little interesting to hear it out loud.
Okay. Have
I
you?
didn't think about it being illegal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's part of why at least you're on probation currently.
Touche.
So have you ever experienced withdrawal symptoms or felt sick when you stopped using that?
I don't know if I would call it like withdrawal. I mean, I guess in my opinion now, I mean, just sometimes I feel like a little crappy without it, I
Okay.
guess. But I mean, I don't think I feel like I'm withdrawing from it.
Yeah. I don't know if people have physical withdrawals normally from LSD. I think it would probably be mental stuff if you were using it to cover symptoms of a mental illness.
Right, yeah, I don't ever feel like sick. I just kind of feel bleh.
Okay. So, have you ever had any sort of medical issues to do with using LSD? So, that could be like memory loss, convulsions, any sort of injuries.
Yeah, I guess me and my friends this one time, we were going to this playground at my old school,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like merry-go-rounds.
Yeah.
I hopped on one of those.
Okay.
They spun me around, and I fell off. It was pretty bad.
Okay.
I I hurt my hand and I had to go to the ER because I landed on it.
Ooh,
Yeah, it didn't go very good. But I mean, yeah, that was a fun night though. But yes.
okay. So I'm just scoring up the yeses, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a score between 6 and 8 is considered substantial, and what they suggest is intensive assessment from that. So substantial level is just below severe, which is the highest level, but it is above three other levels that are lower levels. So according to the DAST, your use is very substantial and close to a severe level.
Oh wow. Hmm. Do you feel like I need therapy for this, or I mean, like what now? I mean, I guess I mean, I don't. It doesn't really feel like a problem because I mean, I only got caught with the marijuana and the LSD this one time.
Okay. Well, I think that due to that assessment, plus what we get from the rest of our initial intake, it's very possible that you could use some therapy because a lot of times things like LSD, marijuana, a lot of substances are used to cover, kind of like an iceberg. So up here is maybe like your utilization of substances, and if you look under the water, the iceberg's a lot bigger. And so maybe those are different emotional things we could talk about.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, doesn't sound bad.
Okay. So if I had to have you rate on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, where you're at and your readiness to change your substance use, where would you rate yourself?
10 being the highest.
Yes. So that's the most motivated.
Oh, that's a hard question. Ask how motivated I am. I don't know. I was expecting to answer that. I guess at a 5.
Okay. So right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it a 5 and not like a 3 or something like that?
I guess because I've been doing this for a few years now, and I mean it's fun and I still enjoy it, but I don't know. My family gets pretty upset with me, and
Mm,
it sucks being in trouble. I don't like dealing with probation and court and
yeah.
peeing in a cup. To be honest with you,
So what I'm
so
hearing is that some of the side effects or consequences that have come from your LSD use are almost not worth the joy that you get from using it.
yeah, the consequences kind of suck. To be
Hmm.
honest, right now, I mean it wasn't like terrible before because I mean it was just kind of fun and hanging out with friends. But like dealing with this now, but yeah, but I mean that sucks.
So, what do you think it would take you to move from a 5 to a 10 on your motivation scale?
I guess like just maybe finding something else to do when
Okay.
I'm bored because I know that's whenever I want to like do it, and I think I struggle with like finding positive things in my life.
Okay. Well, I think you've been really open and honest with me. And I just want to do a little summary with you, real quick, of everything I've gotten from what we've talked about. So, you kind of have used substances for quite a while now. However, this is the first time that you've gotten in trouble, and now you're on probation and you have to be in therapy now, and you have never done it before. So, you're at a 5 of motivation. So, and the reason you're there and not a little bit lower is because you've had so many consequences that have gotten in the way of your life with your family and now legally. But you need to kind of find some skills and some coping mechanisms to be able to get a little bit higher on the motivational skill. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, pretty much when you word it like that.
Okay.
Interesting hearing it out loud.
Well, so you'll be hearing from me again, but thank you so much for being willing to do this little section of our intake assessment with me online. And I look forward to talking to you again.
All right, thanks.